Hello, everybody. So I just had an idea, and I'm like, or not an idea, a thought. So I had to hurry up and share it because I need to quit doing like, oh, that's a YouTube video, and then like forgetting to do it later. You know what I mean? So anyway, I think it's good to go through phases and stages in life. Here's why. Because when you say you're like this one person like your whole life, and then like instead of finding out who you are quicker, like you kind of just are always let's just use a term like, okay, pretend, because went through like a little bit of a I'm cool and I'm gangster kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people go through it, and it's not really who you are. But say I was like that from 13 and kept that all the way up till 23 now. It takes so much longer to figure out who you are, because like before in my past I was like gothic for a little bit, like did stuff like that, and like I think it's okay and it's good to have a little bit of that like diversity and kind of have fun with like phases, stages, like whatever. Like if you're like, oh my gosh, like I feel like just being this person or that, like try shit out and get to like know who you are like through those channels. You know what I'm saying? Like I went through it. Like that's not saying anything bad. You know what I mean? Like go through it and find out like what it is that you actually are, who you are. Like you don't like, because some people are like, God, like I don't understand, like Joe and Nancy like were always just one person and they remain that way their whole lives. You know what I mean? Like they it's kind of hard to explain, but you might know what I'm talking about. Like post down below if you like, yeah, I relate. But like Nancy was like always this way, and like she didn't discover who she was until like 45, when she could have just like entered into the like I want to mess around with like being on the dark side, or I want to mess around with being a gangster, I want to mess around with being like weird or whatever it is. You get the point. Like the world doesn't like stereotypes and judgmenting, but we do it anyways. So like it's kind of one of those things where like I don't judge anymore. Like everybody used to, or everybody does, or whatever. But like be a little weird. You know what I'm saying? Like dive into that aspect, or that like part of yourself that wants to be weird and wants to like color your fingernails black for a little bit, or whatever it is. Like I went through that. I had like a stage or a phase or whatever you want to call it for like 6 months where I was like gothic, so to speak, or however you want to say it. Like let's just be honest, like that's the term for it, I guess, or whatever it is. Like I have no problem like admitting that like I went through like a gangster stage where like and I was well at holding anything that like I wanted to become, so to speak. And it's weird because they're not open and don't talk about that kind of thing. But like I think it's important to just kind of discover like what is it that you really are tuned in, tapped in, and turned on to. You know what I mean? That's Abraham Hicks. But like really, I know my true self, because when I feel good, it's when like people, like I said, people won't talk about this kind of stuff, but it's important. Like I feel good. Like if you've seen me lately, like when I wear like my plaid button ups and I kind of like tuck the front of my shirt in, and I'm not like my pants aren't sagging freaking south 8 yards. Like I feel good because I feel like that's who I am. You know what I mean? Like, and that could change. I would leave the possibility and expansion of you could change open, because my grandma always told me when I was young, like, oh, you might change. And I'd say, as 13 and 16-year-old, I would say, I'm 23, by the way. I would say things like, well, why would I change? This is who I am. You know what I mean? Because I was very rebellious and very outspoken, and I always have been. But now it's put to good use. But what I'm saying is discover those things and kind of, I don't know, like just explore. You know what I mean? Like it's okay. Like, kind of like Gary Vaynerchuk says too, like you have time. And like if you're like, no, I don't, like I need to get going on shit now, then do that too. Like it's really about like really I might talk fast and seem like really a lot's going on, but I just come out of watching Gary Vaynerchuk. I'm usually watching Abraham Hicks, but lately I've been needing to catch up on some of his stuff. I go to him for like the business side of me, Abraham Hicks for the meditation and the centering, but I just think it's really important to tune into those things, and if you're like, no, I know who I am and it's not going to change, fine. Then that's you too. Like I'm not saying like, oh, if you're not like tapping into those other things, you're doing bad. I'm not saying anything or anything. Like, I'm just saying it's okay to explore. I'm saying for those people, it's okay to explore those things and those avenues. Like, if that's the flow, just go. You know what I mean? Like, I totally believe in that. So I just wanted to get that out there while I had a minute, so I didn't have to rethink about it later and not do it, because I tend to do that sometimes. But yeah, just be yourself, and if at the time you can't be yourself and you're trying to be something else, then that's fine too. Just recognize it for what it is, and if you don't, then recognize it later and be honest about it, like how I am now. But like I said, like, before, I used to I'd have like the, what you call them, like the snapbacks, to the back, and like, I don't know, just, you dress, so when you become transformed, everything transforms, right? You start to see things different, you start to hear things different, you start to say things different, you start to dress different. Maybe not everybody, but like, my parents have known, like, okay, this is Cassie, this is the real Cassie, like, not the, like, I'm covering up, I got shades on, like, nobody can see me, like, no, like, that's not who we are. Like, sometimes we put a mask up because we got our defenses up and we're not so open to the world and we're not transformed, or we were transformed and we got off track and yada, yada, yada. But once you discover, like, your true self, like, those things come out and you start to kind of take things off and open up your eyes, and you want the world to see you and you want to see the world, you know what I mean? So discover those things, get in touch with them, and if you already know who you are, then that's cool too. It's just okay. Everything is just okay. Life doesn't have to be so serious. You know what I mean? Like, I get there are serious things, but in the biggest, hugest picture of it all, like, it's so okay. And I lived a life of so not okay that I have the right to say this. Like, I lived such a chaotic, miserable life, and I'm 23, and people also, don't let people tell you, like, oh, you're so young, like, you've yet to experience shit. Like, I have experienced a lot for being 23, like, and I don't even, like, necessarily, I don't really broadcast it because I'm so transformed that it's not necessary. I don't want, like, the self-pity, but I will say, like, I've dealt with a lot of suicide people. My ex-girlfriend passed away, was mistreated in a jail cell. I've hung myself multiple times. I've been at the train tracks trying to commit suicide, buying guns. Like, I've been there, and I've hit the trenches, like, and people have seen me hit those places. Like, it's just okay. You know what I mean? Like, let yourself explore. Let yourself be you. Let it come out, and then choose happy. Just decide that you're going to change your life, because it makes sense to do so. You know what I mean? You have the right to, and it just makes sense, right? Like, be happy. Like, do what makes you more of you. That's basically the point of this. And if you got to go through a little stage first to decide that's not for me, then do it. Otherwise, it's just going to take longer, So, I love you guys. Just wanted to say that for the night. I turned on the light just to do so. Morgan's sitting up, so I don't know. She might want some lovin's. Oh, that's a Radiohead tattoo. I guess I never really showed my tattoos before. I could do that real quick. Sarah, that's the ex-girlfriend that passed away. I kind of got some over up on here, stuff like that. So yeah, but that, and that's my past written all over my arms, and that's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just because I transformed doesn't mean I need a clean slate of arms. Like, it's just okay. It's okay. Just reaffirm it to yourself every day. It's okay. Life is okay. Life is beautiful. I love myself. I love my transformation. Affirmations are important. Anyways, I love you guys so much. Dream, believe, hold, my friends. Love you. Peace.